This is a Christmas story about melting a frozen heart. Merry Christmas and enjoy.
Ho, ho, ho!
Once there was a troll, the most mischievous of all trolls, who made a mirror with a peculiar power. Everything good and beautiful that was reflected in it shrank to almost nothing. Everything worthless and ugly stood out and looked even worse. The loveliest landscapes looked like boiled spinach. The kindest faces became twisted and mean. If a good thought passed through someone's mind, the mirror showed a grin from which you could only conclude that the troll himself was laughing. His students carried the mirror across the world, delighting in the distortion. Eventually, they tried to fly it up to heaven, to mock the angels themselves. The higher they flew, the more the mirror grinned and shook, until it slipped from their hands and shattered into billions of pieces. Those pieces scattered everywhere. Some were tiny, no bigger than grains of sand. Some became window panes. Some became spectacles. And when a shard entered someone's eye, that person saw everything distorted. Only the bad, only the ugly, only the flaws. When a shard entered someone's heart, the heart turned to ice. This is how Kay was lost. Kay and Gerda were children who loved each other with the simple completeness that children can manage before the world complicates love. They lived in attic rooms across from each other, windows facing, a box of roses growing between them. They sat among the roses and read picture books and were happy. One winter day, Kay was looking out the window at the falling snow when something struck his eye. Then something struck his heart. 2 splinters of the troll's mirror. He didn't cry out. He didn't even notice. He only felt an irritation, blinked a few times, and found the world, subtly, completely, changed. The roses looked diseased. Gerda looked ugly. Her voice, reading from the picture book, sounded stupid and shrill. Everything he had loved looked distorted, flawed, worthy only of mockery. He pulled away from Gerda without knowing why. He started spending his time with the older boys, the ones who thought they were clever because they were cruel. He laughed at things that would have made him cry before. He was proud of his coldness, mistaking it for sophistication. Then the Snow Queen came. She came in her sleigh made of ice, drawn by white horses whose breath froze in the air. She was beautiful and terrible, tall and pale, her eyes like frozen lakes that had never known summer. Kay was sledding with the other boys when her sleigh passed. Something in him, the shard perhaps, recognizing its queen, made him tie his little sled to her great one. She flew away so fast the other children couldn't follow, and Kay flew with her. At first he was afraid. The cold bit deep. The speed was terrifying. But she wrapped him in her fur cloak and kissed his forehead. Once, to numb the cold. Twice, to make him forget Gerda and his grandmother and his home. She didn't kiss him a third time. A third kiss would have killed him. She took him to her palace at the center of a frozen lake at the center of the world. The walls were made of driven snow. The windows and doors were cutting winds. There were 100 halls, the largest miles long, all lit by the flickering northern lights. In the center of the largest hall was a frozen lake, cracked into 1,000 pieces that looked exactly alike. The Snow Queen called this the Mirror of Reason, and she sat Kay down before it with a challenge. Arrange the ice pieces to spell one word: eternity. If he could do it, she told him, he would be his own master. He would have the whole world and a new pair of skates. She flew away to powder snow over the warm countries. And Kay sat in the empty palace, pale and still, pushing pieces of ice, trying to form patterns that kept breaking apart. He had forgotten that he was cold. He had forgotten Gerda, his grandmother, the roses between their windows. He moved the ice pieces with stiff fingers, certain that the answer was almost there, that the pattern was almost complete. The shard in his heart had done its work. He was frozen and he didn't know it. Gerda never forgot. When Kay didn't come home, she wept until she couldn't weep anymore. Then she went looking. She asked the river. She asked the flowers. She asked the raven and the prince and the robber girl. She walked through every season, through gardens that tried to trap her, and palaces that tried to distract her. She kept walking. Everyone she met tried to keep her. The old woman with the flower garden enchanted her to forget Kay. She remembered anyway. The prince and princess offered her a coach and comfort. She thanked them and continued. She rode north. What drove her? Not certainty. She didn't know where Kay was or whether he was alive. Not obligation. No one would have blamed her for giving up. Not even hope exactly, just a stubborn flame that refused to accept that Kay was gone forever. Love, you might call it. But that word has become soft with overuse. What Gerda had was harder than that. It was the refusal to let the ice win. She found the palace. She walked through the cutting winds at the doorways, and the winds fell still. She walked through the 100 halls, and her warm breath melted paths through the cold. She found Kay in the great hall, blue and stiff, pushing ice pieces on the frozen lake. He didn't look up. He didn't recognize her. Kay, she said. Dear Kay. He kept pushing the ice. She began to cry. Her warm tears fell on his chest and penetrated to his heart. They melted the ice there and washed away the splinter of glass. He looked up. He saw her, and he began to cry too. He cried so hard that the splinter in his eye washed out. He saw her clearly for the first time since that winter day at the window. Gerda, grown now, worn from travel, crying from joy. Gerda, he said, where have you been? Where have I been? She took his hands. They danced together among the ice pieces, and when they stopped, the pieces had fallen into place. Eternity, the word he couldn't form alone, she helped him spell without trying. They walked home together. It took the whole spring. When they arrived, they found they had grown up. The grandmother was still there. The roses were blooming between the attic windows. They sat among the flowers like they had when they were children, but they weren't children anymore. And yet, the story says they were children still. Children at heart. The mirror is still out there, billions of shards still entering eyes and hearts, still making people see only ugliness, still freezing what was once warm. The Snow Queen is still flying over the world, still looking for those whose hearts already carry the splinter. But the shards can be washed out. The ice can be melted. It takes someone willing to search through every season, someone whose tears are warm enough to reach a frozen heart. Kay couldn't save himself. He didn't even know he needed saving. He sat in the ice palace, arranging fragments, certain he was almost solving something, while his real life waited at home with an empty space where he should have been. Gerda didn't argue with him. Didn't explain why he was wrong. Didn't try to convince him the ice palace was cold. She just wept, and her weeping was warm, and the warmth did what arguments could never do. She didn't save him by force. She saved him by proximity, being warm enough, close enough, long enough that the ice couldn't maintain itself. Sometimes that's all any of us can do for the frozen ones. Stay close and stay warm and wait for the melt.
Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe for more. Share to help the channel grow.